What's happening, everybody? Yes, sir. We're back. We back live, baby. We are live and in color. Listen, do me a favor right now. Whatever you're doing, unless you're driving, whatever you're doing, text somebody, call somebody, tell somebody that Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette is on the air right now. It is absolutely amazingly awesome that you guys listen to this show today. Yeah, I'm be making up words. I don't care. We're on live today because I want you to get this particular message that I'm going to share with you today. Listen, get you some paper, get you some pen. This is not going to be the high energy show that I normally have because I want to make sure that as I share what I'm going to share with you guys, that you guys get it. The totality of it. I want you guys to get it. I want you to get it deep down in your brain, inside of your heart, inside of your muscles. I want you to be able to share this message with everybody. I have notes. If you on YouTube, you can see me looking down. I have notes today, guys. I have my phone out. I have all kind of stuff. If you was to look at my office, you'll be like, what is he doing? I just want to get this message to you. It is powerful, but I must make sure I slow down because this is also one of them that's going to empower you. It's going to give you an aha moment. It's going to make you say, yes, it is that and then some. But as some of you guys know, some of you guys may not have ever been on my show before or have never listened. Listen to this. Go to Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com. That's LETSTanleyDoucette.com. Go there, subscribe, like, share, all of those things. Matter of fact, let me also say this. We've received a lot of messages about a multitude of things and a multitude of shows. Listen, guys, it is imperative that you guys shoot me a message and the team will get to it and we'll respond and do what we have to do to make sure we get exactly what it is that you guys want to hear, you guys want information on. We want to do it right here on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. The reason I'm sharing that is I'm about to give you my email address. I want to give this because it is that important for me to be able to share what you guys want to hear. So let's get into it, all right? So first, my email address is let's talk with Stanley D at gmail.com. LETSTALKWITHSTANLEYD as in David at gmail.com. Shoot me a message. If you want to comment about this show or any other shows, you want to see a special guest on here, you want to actually talk to me, you want questions answered, whatever it is, shoot me a message. For the petty people, I'm petty too. I'm going to petty you back. For the people that's just calling to be mean, I'm going to be mean back. I promise you I'm going to be mean back. Listen, today's show is all that and then some. Before I get into it, I just want to share this with you guys. Wherever you are, if you're on any type of social media platform, just go to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette and you'll catch me. I'm out there. If you're looking for my YouTube channel, make sure you put the apostrophe S there for Let's. It's LET''S. Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. And that way it'll pull it up. Subscribe. Now, right now, what I would like for you guys to do, if it's okay, could you do me a favor? Text somebody, tell somebody, touch somebody, and let them know Stanley Doucette is riding right now on onevoiceradio.com. Let's make it happen. If you're looking for the rebroadcast and you're listening to it again and again and again, I'm on all of the social media platforms. I'm on all of the podcast platforms and all of those things. We have all of that covered. Now that I've gotten all of the commercials out the way, now I'm nervous. Let me just say that again. If y'all looking at me on YouTube, I'm nervous. Why am I nervous? Because this particular message is not a message that's easy to deliver for us. It's powerful, right? It is powerful. So this is the name of the podcast. This is the title. The title is The Power of Revelation. Let me say that again. The Power of Revelation. Now, as you can see, I done slowed down some because I want everybody to understand what I'm about to articulate and share my thoughts about the power of revelation, because it has so many different things that goes on into it. Now, right now, I just want to read a quick definition of I just pulled it up on Google for all y'all smart people. No, it's not my own definition. I just pulled it up on Google. I just want to read this to you, right? It says the divine or supernatural disclosure to humans of something relating to a human experience or the world. That's the definition I want to use when you talk about the power of revelation. Over the last few days, the last few weeks, I've been fortunate enough to receive a lot of revelation about a lot of things, right? And I'm excited. That power is pure, that power is powerful, that power is anointing as all get up, right? There's an anointing that's there. Now, with that being said, one of the things that I realized that because the word revelation have so many tentacles that it can go so many different places. I'm not trying to make this into a super spiritual side, but I want to share with you some of my thoughts about it's just I think it's like 5 things I want to share with you what revelation is and kind of how I look at what revelation is. Okay. So if you have something to write with, please, by all means, please write this down. I believe wholeheartedly it will give you some revelation and some clarity and some joy. So the first one that I say, oh yeah, by the way, I have my notes. So don't think I'm just off the top of the dome and I'm like, oh my God, this guy is powerful. No, I have my notes, right? So number one, if you're writing it down, it's just the power of revelation, just 5 things that I believe in, right? When it comes to revelation. So number one, revelation triggers the joy of God in us. Revelation triggers the joy of God in us. The word of God, when revealed, triggers joy, unspeakable, unspeakable joy. Let me pause there. When you talk about something that's unspeakable, you're walking with such energy and such glory on you, or such light, or such great energy that you don't have to say anything, other people see it, right? See, a lot of times, if you think about what's going on with the war today and whatever going on over there, and then you have negative things going on in America, and you looking around and it seems like crazy people on your job doing crazy things. And you look inside of some people's houses, that's bad. And you look inside of some people spiritual places, that may be bad. And it's just all kind of crazy things going on. But when you have that level of joy, that unspeakable joy, people can see it on you, right? They can absolutely see it on you. So when you have that truth, that pure revelation about something, about yourself, about someone else, about whatever it may be, it begins to trigger some level of, or not some level, I would say joy, pure joy within you. And people can see that light that's upon you. Now, when you carry that level of light and that level of joy, just so you know, there are still people out there that don't want to see you happy. So when you trigger that level of joy, I can pretty much assure you that someone at some point will try to come and tear down your joy. But it's our right and our authority not to allow someone into your space like that. See, you have the control of your space. So when you get the revelation and somebody tries to walk in your space, don't allow them to walk in your space with that negativity. Don't allow them to walk in your space trying to tear you down. Don't allow them to walk in your space and rip you apart and try to give all of these false truths, as I like to call them, these negative mantras and all of this other stuff. Don't allow any of that in your space, especially when you just got a true revelation. They're going to try, but don't allow them to walk in that space. Don't allow them to tap into your space. Be all of who you are. So remember, number one, revelation triggers the joy. Revelation triggers the joy, right? And obviously, joy is internal. Joy is not external like happiness. You know, you're happy, you're sad. Joy is eternal. It's something deep within you that people can't put out readily, right? They can't just say something that just pull you down. Joy is something that's so deep in you that you know, regardless of what's going on, you're still going to make it out okay, because your creator has allowed you X, Y, or Z. You know your creator has always come to you in the right place at the right time and always in the right situation, that he shows up. And as some people say, he will show out, right? So the first one is revelation triggers, and we understand it triggers joy. So let me get to number two. Yeah, I can feel it like in my stomach, y'all. Like this is great good. This is not just good. This is great good. So number two, revelation is an unveiling that opens up new realms of living, of possibilities, and of faith. So let's look at that now. When it's something that's open up to you and you're now allowed to live in a different space or something higher, and you keep going higher and higher and higher, you're getting closer to your creator, you're getting close to God, right? Because you have been revealed with new things and new possibilities on how you can live. Let me give you an example. If all your life you ever lived in an apartment, right? Some people may have a mindset to say this is how we live. You may see pretty houses, you may see bigger houses, so on and so forth. And that's fine, but you always know I'm going back to this particular apartment because that's how I live. And then revelation can set up in you, and God can whisper in your ear some great revelation. And when it does, now it gives you new possibilities. I am going to own that house. I am going to own that car. I am going to own that whatever. Now I'm putting it in the material side. I just want everybody to understand. But you can own those things. You can live at a higher level. Now it may take work, but you can do it. See, when you're talking about new realms of living, that's not staying horizontally. I learned something the other day that it just blew me away, right? My mentor told me this. He said, going horizontal or separating, right? When you're separating, you're going horizontal. You're going in two separate directions, or however you want to say it. So you're separating. And when you're separating, you're going horizontal, which is going to nothing. Horizontal, if you're separating, you're going to nothing horizontally. But if you're elevating or going to another realm and going up, you're moving closer to your creator. You're going vertically up. So you're moving closer to your creator. Why am I sharing that? Because as you continue to climb up the ladder, up the whatever you want to call it, you're getting closer to your creator. So now you're living in a different space, different oxygen, different air, and you're understanding that it's better to live this way than where I was. And then as you go higher, it's going to be higher and higher and higher and higher. Here's where we are in today's society, ladies and gentlemen. So many people have put fake things on social media, just complete fake things on social media. And what a lot of people are doing is comparing themselves to what they see on social media when all of it is a lie. Ask yourself, How many times you took the picture to get the right light and all of that stuff, to show it right, to show the picture right, all of those things, and you didn't put filters on there, you didn't put colors on there, you didn't went and got your daughter or your son's clothes to put on to make it seem like you're buff and you're this and you're ripped and all of that stuff. Fake. Fake. That's all it is fake. But when you are revealed something and you can live at a higher realm of living, you don't need to worry about what someone else is doing or where something else is living. It's all up to you because your creator has allowed you to take that next step. Let me share this with you guys. Let me share this with you guys. Let me share this. This is good. Write this down. This is one of them ding, ding, ding moments. Write this down. You cannot go to the next level unless you're invited. Let me say that again. You cannot go to the next level unless you're invited. Why am I sharing that? Because so many times people say, oh, I'm going to the next level, but you weren't invited. So if you weren't invited, you only going to the next level in your own, I'll just say mind, right? But you're not invited. Now, when you are truly invited, when you truly get that revelation, and you're able to go to that next realm and step that game up in all areas of your life, you have been invited. You are welcome. It's your season, your time, your turn, and it's right now. So take that next level, take that next realm, and open up your life, open up your living, and understand how all of this is possible because you have been given that right to do so, right? The other piece is new possibilities. See, a lot of times we never had the possibility of, let's say, I don't know, working for X person or working at X company. We never thought about it. But then once you get the revelation and you have that possibility, it just opens up everything in you. And then even you go back to number one, it starts to bring you joy, that unspeakable joy. So now you living at another realm, you have all new possibilities. And then the last one is of faith and of faith and of faith, right? Now you have faith. You know, people say all kind of acronyms for faith. For all I trust him. You know, I mean, I can go on and on and on with faith. Here's the deal. Faith is difficult at times. People ain't gonna tell you that, but faith is difficult at times. So ask yourself, how long have you been waiting for that thing that God said you would have, but you don't have it yet? And somebody say, keep the faith, stay faithful. And you like, how long I'm gonna be faithful? Let's be 100 today. Let's be 100 family. How long have you saying I'm gonna be faithful? And you're asking those questions. Well, I didn't did this, and you got your own folder. If you're on YouTube, you see me got your own folder, right? How long are you gonna stay in that space? Well, because once you get that revelation, a true revelation, and now you have the ability, the power, and the stamina to actually keep your faith. Now, sometimes it's not easy because we all fall short of the glory of God, right? So if sometimes you fall short, it is okay. It is okay. But pick yourself up and keep going because your faith will continue to lead you forward, right? Now, number three. Let's get to number three. We almost finished, guys. We almost finished. I'm on number three already. So revelation removes speculation. Revelation removes speculation. Let me say it again. Revelation removes speculation. Now, how many of you guys remember? Don't raise your hand if you're driving, but raise your hand if you're sitting down listening to this. But how many of us remember in the Bible when Jesus asked Peter, who do men say that I am? And he was talking to Peter. And at the time, Peter was like, look, I can just imagine Peter just looking around like, you talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. Who do men say that I am? And then Peter goes out and just basically say something powerful. Something powerful. He says, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And then Jesus comes back and say that basically flesh and blood, meaning a human, did not reveal that to you, right? And then that removes all speculation. That removed all speculation. See, sometimes when we'll do something and then our parents come behind us and clarifies it and ordains it and say, yes, son or daughter, you're correct. You're doing all of those things. That's what happens. You move from speculation to knowing. You're not speculating anymore if my last name is Doucette. You don't have to speculate anymore. You know it because your parents told you. That's what your name. Look at your birth certificates. Look at your birth documents. That is your name. That is your name. That's your name. You don't have to worry about if anybody's speculating. So in the beginning, you may not know your name, and I'm putting this in real, very simple terms. So y'all walk with me. You may not know your name. You may not know your name is Doucette or Smith or whatever it may be, right? But you do know you have parents, and then your parents will start saying, asking you a question, what's your name? And in the beginning, you kind of, just maybe say your first name. But then after a while, you kind of say, what's your name? And then you say the whole name. My name is Stanley Doucette. And you say it with power and authority and the clarity with it, just who you are. So that the revelation has removed that speculation of what it is, because your creator had revealed exactly who it is you are. So when Peter said that, right, and then he changed his name right there on the spot and started calling him Peter. How many of us have received revelation and things changed instantly in us? Things changed immediately in us because we didn't have any more speculation. We started walking with more confidence. We started walking more upright. We started walking with more ability, saying, I can do this. I can do this. All of those things are who we are, right? So remember, revelation removes speculation. Let me say that again. Revelation removes speculation. Now, number 4, we almost out of here, family. We almost out of here. But I wanted to take it down. I want you guys to hear this, because I think the power of revelation is all of that and then some. All right. So number 4, if you're writing this down, number four, revelation proclaims identification. Revelation proclaims identification, meaning you're being ID, right? You're being ID when Jesus told Peter, on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Well, when you talk about giving somebody an identification, he began to identify Peter as one of the rocks of the modern church. And if you think about this, how powerful is that for in my case, Jesus to identify somebody and said he's going to be a rock. He's going to be someone that he builds his church upon. Here's the question. When you identify something, you got great clarity, you get the revelation, and you begin moving and identify a different identification. You can now proclaim who you are and scream at the top of your lungs. The last example, I was talking about a child. Now, if a child 8 or 9, somebody asks who they are, and they stand up and they say, you know what? My name is such and such. My name is Stanley Doucette. My name is Peter Smith. My name is John Smith, right? Or whatever. You can be whoever it is because you have that identity. You now can proclaim to everybody the truth of who you are. But also inside, internally, we have to make sure that as we're proclaiming, we're matching up to our identity. So think about this, guys. If you know your creator has put you in a position to be great and powerful, then you can't be walking around meek and lame, right? You have to be in that upright position because that's your identity. You have to live out your full. Now, let me pause here. This is good part right here to pause, because sometimes we don't know our true identity. Let me say that again. Sometimes we don't know our true identity. Well, there's a few reasons for that. Number one, that I believe a lot of people don't know their true identity is because no one really genuinely asks them who they are. Just ask yourself, when you make just something real simple. When people now call you on the phone, how many times people just call you to see how you're doing? Not to say, hey, how you doing? And then start to tell you their problems, right? So when you're talking about identifying yourself, sometimes the people we are conversing with may not even know who they are. But let me also say this. Have you been the person on the other end of the phone that have called and never asked the person how they're genuinely doing? Have you been a person that is not truly identified with who you are? Whether, what's your passion, what's your love, what's your this, what's your that? Have you identified? Or are you living your life for someone else? So, do you need a revelation to identify who you are yourself? And it's okay to say yes, because we have people that are truly hurting right now in this world. We have people that really walking around just on autopilot, as I call it, just walking around doing the same thing over and over and over, but really haven't identified deep down of who they are. They really haven't unearthed all of their gifts and talent. They really haven't found their purpose. They really don't know who they are. So it's difficult to know your identity and even to receive revelation if you're not even open. But as I like to say, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. So when your creator begins to whisper in your ear who you are in your identity, then you can take hold to that and just walk in your greatness. You really can. I don't know why this is just coming to me, but there's a lot of people that's listening, and because there's so much going on in the world, some people just need some hope or just some great words to share with them, just to give them some inspiration, some love, just something that they can keep going. Listen, the reason why you logged into this particular podcast is not so much to see me joking and clowning, but it was just because of you. It's because of who you are. It's because of who you are and who God wants you to be. So as you're logged into this, even though you're listening, but the creator is talking directly to you. The creator is looking at you and saying, you know what? I still love you. Even though you messed up, I still love you. Even though you have reached the highest mountain, I still love you. Even though you think you have messed up terribly, even though you done messed up the relationship, even though you done messed up the job, even though you done messed up the physical, the car, the house, the train, the whatever, even though you have done everything wrong, he's saying he still loves you. For those that are looking for hope, you got people in different parts of the country just going through hell. He says, I still love you. Don't worry about it, because he is still the conductor of the train. He's still operating at his highest. He is still on the throne. You have to believe that for all of those people that may not understand or may be suffering. Listen, I promise you, I was looking to find something today to do the podcast with. And things just went blank all of a sudden. But then this popped up, and I was still like, okay, let me figure out how we're going to do this and how we're going to make this happen. Let me explain this to you guys. It is not by accident or by coincidence that we are literally doing this podcast for you. If it's just one person in Hungary that needed to hear this, the podcast has been a success. If it's just one person in Maine that needed to hear this, the podcast has been a success. If it's one person in Johannesburg, South Africa that needed to hear this, then the podcast was a success. If it's you, and even though you're at work, or even though you're at home and you got people around and you don't want to really open up and say, this podcast is for me, it's okay, because God still loves you. As we're walking through this particular life and doing the things that we are doing now to continue to stay happy, continue to have deep joy within us, continue to having that revelation and living in an abundance and all of those things, he still loves you. Do not think because in the society said you messed up that he doesn't love you. See, sometimes we mess up not for us, and God will allow us to mess up not for us, but it's to take that experience, that education, and share it for someone else. So now the question becomes, are we going to be selfish enough not to share that revelation? Or are we going to be selfish enough not to share that experience? Because God will use us to be able to share with others openly. This is why this particular podcast is being played right now on onevoiceradio.com, because of that particular person that needed to hear this podcast. Now, there's somebody that's also going to listen to it, 2 days later, 3 days later, a week later, a month later, and they're going to hear this and it's going to be right on time, because the creator is always on time. There's only one right time. And when he steps into your life, that is the right time. We collectively must understand that when he identifies us as one of his children, as one of his, as we like to say, one of our babies. And if you can imagine, for all of the mothers and fathers out there, if somebody was to come against your child, how you would stand up. It doesn't matter who it is, but how you would stand up. So imagine the one that has all power in his hand and how he stands up for you. Guys, it is no coincidence that you are here. So the inspiration that I send to you today, the power that I sent, the love, the energy, all of those things is not of me, but it's of him. We want you to continue to be successful. This is why this podcast was actually put together. And the last thing is revelation. This is number 5. Revelation grants authorization. Revelation grants authorization. Let me say that again. Number 5, revelation grants authorization. Now, let me just say it like this. And some of you may have heard, and I'm going through some parts of the Bible. But let me read this to you. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Guys, that level of authority that is given to us by our Creator is simply remarkable. It doesn't get any better than that. Listen, I'm not going to belabor the point, but be careful. Be very, very careful about what you speak over your life, over your children's life, over your parents' life, and your descendants, your bloodline. Be very careful, because you have authorization. You have authorization from on high. You have authorization to stop things, but also speak things into existence. See, I was having a conversation with a friend today, and she said something, and I said, don't say that again, because she has the power to authorize certain things. And I did not want her to authorize that negative thing, even though she was playing. Guys, this is where we must be careful. The life and death, as they say, is in the power of the tongue. Sometimes you can speak something unknowingly, and when you speak it and they come to existence, the first thing you say, that's not what I prayed for, but that's what you spoke. Let me say that again. If something negative come back to you and you'll say, that's not what I prayed for, but I guarantee you that's something you spoke. Be very careful of your words. Be very careful of how you articulate who you are. Even when you're playing, the subconscious don't know when you're playing, and they don't have a sense of humor. It's going to manifest what you speak. So let's be careful about what we speak. For those that's listening, speak life into your children. Speak power into your children. Speak love into your children. Speak laughter into your children. not in just in your children, but to your relatives, your friends, your family, all of those individuals. Speak that to them and allow them to receive that wonderful energy, that wonderful love, that wonderful power, authority, all of that stuff. Allow them to receive it so they can do what they have to do with it. All right. So listen, family, those are just the 5 things I wanted to talk about when I refer to the power of revelation. Listen, y'all know I'm going to be back next week. Y'all know I still got the best intro and outro music. Regardless of what you say, we still laugh. Go to, please, if you don't mind, go to Let's Talk with Stanley D at gmail.com. Shoot me a message. Say something. I don't care if I talk to you every day. Just shoot me a message, because this particular podcast, I got the sense was for a couple of people out there that needed some hope and inspiration, understanding what revelation really is. So listen, go to Let's Talk with, let me spell it for you. LETSTALKWITHSTANLEY D as in David at gmail.com. Please do me a favor, hit me up. Hit me up, send that message to me. Just say this one was for me. You don't have to leave your name, your phone number, your email, nothing. Just send it and say, you know what? This one was for me. This one was for me. If it was for your cousin, have your cousin shoot me a message. Why am I sharing that? Because sometimes we have to just open up and say, you know what? This is not fake book. This is not falsehood. This is truly something that was for me, and just express it. All right. So listen, wherever you're on social media, I'm on all of the platforms. Just, subscribe, connect, chat, talk, all of that stuff. Make sure you like and share if you like and share. So like and share and do all of those things. So with that being said, listen, guys, this wasn't going to be a long podcast, but I wanted to make sure I share the power of revelation. So with that being said, I love you guys. I will see you guys next week for another fantabulous show. I got another powerhouse guest on. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So with that being said, I love each and every one of you. God bless. And this will actually stop our, I'm just going to say stop. It's going to pause our podcast until next week. Y'all see how I correct the power of the tongue? Yeah. That's how we doing it. See, even learning on the spot. That's how we doing. So listen, guys, we're going to pause right here, and I'll see you guys next week. So let's go to work. We're about to take it on back to the street. So let's get on out of here. Let's go.